This meeting is being recorded.
Hey, everybody. Good morning and happy Monday. First of all, just want to say thank you for your understanding on Friday. Obviously, the storm caused a lot of problems for a lot of different folks. For us down here in Sanford, we were part of the internet outage, so we had lost internet until late Saturday. So, but what I thought I would do is I had a good number of folks register for the workshop. I figure I'd just go ahead and record myself presenting the content and set up one-on-ones with everybody, like I had mentioned in my email. So. We are going to talk about today how to build a strong pipe to ensure a great year end, and really 6 prospecting mistakes that you're going to want to avoid, and some alternative things to do in the interim. All right, so let's jump in. This should only be about 30 minutes of content. It's about 45, 50 minutes when we've got folks in the room to collaborate and engage. So a nice quick watch for you on a Monday. So a little bit about me, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Derek Burrell. I'm a certified Sandler sales training business owner, Triangle Sales Performance Group. My background is VP of Sales, go-to-market, strategy consultant. My most recent gig, I was at Salesforce and led a team in the East pointed at healthcare payers, and then worked with our Northern European market to work on healthcare, life science strategy, and go-to-market. Over the years, I've been awarded 10 plus President's Club. I've had 200% quota attainment as both an individual contributor as well as a VP of sales, as well as a sales leader. So worked my way up from a BDR to VP of sales with a team of 12 and a $60 million budget. A little bit about me. Like I said, I live in Sanford, so just south of Raleigh by about 30 minutes, but been married for 20 plus years to my beautiful wife, Erin. Got a 17-year-old son who's a junior in high school and a 14-year-old daughter who's a freshman. All right, so let's get into the meat of this, shall we? All right. So let's back up a little bit. Let's talk, say, maybe 10, 15 years ago, when you're looking to prospect. Finding email addresses was kind of hard. Getting contact information was kind of tough, and people were more apt to respond. As a result, they hadn't quite been inundated with what we see today. Limited automation, Salesforce was obviously a thing. CRMs are really starting to, rise to the top and help us in our sales efforts to having a single source of truth. But like SDRs, BDRs, they weren't really a thing yet, so account executives, enterprise account executives, business development executives, they were the ones really pushing out all the prospecting efforts. They didn't have people that were just dedicated to only doing that. So like I said, we didn't really receive a ton of spam, if you will. Now, fast forward 10 years to today. You've got ZoomInfo, which I use. You've got Apollo.io. There's Outreach, SalesLoft. You can get just about anybody's contact information, and I mean office phone, cell phone, work email. What's the best way to get in contact with them? So people now have really been inundated with spam. We get hundreds of cold emails a day trying to solve problems that folks we've never even spoken to, that they're trying to solve our problems. They don't even know what they are, right? And hey, listen, I'm guilty of this too. I've got a cold outreach, kind of a trickle that I do, but I do it a little bit differently. And I think when we talk about it today, I'll give you a little insight into what I do and why it works more than this way, if you will. So, because really in 2024, the number one challenge when it comes to prospecting, it's simply being seen. It's, being that unicorn in a sea of horses, right? That really so you stand out. And how do you do that? Well, this is going to be really the only slide that I talk about this, but it's important for you to have a system. And I believe in the Sandler sales methodology. It's unique. It's a psychology based methodology. We use a platform that's based on human psychology supported by behavioral science. So these aren't just, quick tricks, that you can get an appointment with. I mean, this is a true way of running a sales cycle that is scientifically proven to produce results. And we do it with what we call the BAT triangle. It's the behavior, the attitude, and the technique, right? So what we do is we're going to guide you first on the right behaviors that are going to drive consistent results and take the guesswork out of that productivity. All right. Then we focus on their belief system. We establish your right mindset for that maximum personal effectiveness. And what does that look like? Well, typically, if you're doing the behaviors, your attitude's going to improve and you're going to do your behaviors better, right? And then the last part, really, that's the technique, right? We teach you specifically how to do it, how to listen, how to know the prospect, how to communicate value, and how to move the process forward. Okay. That's really my plug for Sandler is that, if you're gonna sell, I think you got to have a system. And I think the Sandler methodology is the way to go because it's not snake oil salesman. You're really genuinely trying to solve somebody's problem. Okay. All right. So think of that as the backdrop for all of this, all of the things we're about to talk about over the next 25 minutes or so. All right. Okay. So the first mistake in prospecting is a lack of real personalization. Okay. I think we've all gotten emails or voicemails like this, LinkedIn, email, InMail. Looks like we've got some mutual connections. I'd love to learn more about your business. Derek, I've been hearing buzz about your company. Seems like you're doing some great work at Sandler. How are you handling this wild market? Those don't work. Those are probably just created by AI, to be honest with you. And it's just not a personalization that says to me, Derek, you're the only person that could answer this question. You're the only person that can give me this piece of information. Nobody else but you. So let's look at let's look at personalization and look at what it really looks like. Now, to be fair, this is not my example. I stole this from a colleague of mine that's also a Sandler business owner, but I stole it because it's pretty unique and there is nobody else that could answer this question. So check out this email. Hi, Jerry. Thanks for connecting. The mutant Sherlock Holmes activations at Comic-Con was amazing. I walked by as you were starting to let people through, and wow, what a big line. Do you have your own team of brand ambassadors for those activities, or do you use an agency? I mean, Jerry's the only person in the world that would be able to answer that question. So this is real true personalization. Okay. But look at the response he gets. Hey, great outbound message. It definitely has been the most impressive I've seen in quite some time. So hats off, LOL. As for sourcing, I have a network of about 20 VAs for Los Angeles, and my colleagues do the same for their event areas. Hope this finds you well. So see, he engaged because she used real personalization to ask a question that only Jerry could answer. And that's what it takes. Does it take a little bit more work? Yeah, it does. But your success rates are going to be a lot higher when you do things like this as opposed to doing things like this. Okay, does that make sense? By the way, clearly you know that because I'm sending this to you, but with the transcription of this, there's going to be a summary. So I think you guys will find that helpful as well. All right, so takeaway number one. With every outbound email you write, you need to make the case that email was uniquely written for one specific person, okay? So that is what real personalization looks like. All right, the second mistake that folks tend to, that I see these days that folks tend to do is really a misaligned call to action. So what does that look like? Kind of looks generalities. Are you available this Tuesday or Thursday at 10 o'clock? Can we talk tomorrow morning? What's a good day for us to connect this week? Click on my calendar link to schedule a meeting. Are we all guilty of these? Sure, absolutely. I am too. The calendar link, that's probably the one that I'm guilty of the most. I have a calendar link in my email signature that folks can click if they want to schedule a meeting with me. It's pretty easy, but is it a good call to action? No, not at all. So what do we want to do? Okay. So when we do a cold reach out, if it's a cold email, if it's a cold voicemail, ask for the interest, not the meeting. Okay. So, and what do I say about that? Would you be open to discuss potential opportunities? Would you be interested in in learning more, right? We're not actually asking for the meeting. We're asking for the interest in having a meeting. Okay. So if you're familiar with Sandler and an upfront contract, this is kind of the first one that we're going to have in our communication sequence with this particular customer prospect rather. And it's just going to be, hey, would you be open to or interested in learning a little bit more about what we do and the problems that we solve? But use your call to action. Use it to establish fit. I mean, look at what we had from our previous example here. You know, do you have your own team of brand ambassadors for those activations, or do you use an agency? Now that's a great call to action. I mean, talking about not only interest, but you're establishing fit. And what does that do also for the salesperson? Well, it's a qualification question because if they don't respond in the way that this salesperson needs for them to qualify for their time, they're just going to disqualify them and say, hey, Jerry, it doesn't seem like this is going to be a good fit. And that's perfectly fine. Best of luck at the next Comic Con. But again, you're establishing fit. You're establishing interest. So takeaway number 2 is use your call to action to test for fit before you try to close for a meeting. Why get a meeting if they're not going to be a good fit? Why waste your time? Okay. Now, mistake number 3 is one that I see more and more today. Okay. And it's the failure to pick up the phone. And when I say pick up the phone, I mean pick up the phone and make a phone call. Okay. But I know 98% of the time somebody's not gonna pick up the other end, and that's fine. And most of the time, I'm just trying to get to their voicemail, okay? Because voicemail works. If I say, "Hey Emily, it's Derek from Sandler. Since I didn't catch you, I'm going to send you an email and explain why I'm reaching out. Talk to you soon." That's all I want them to say. That's all I want them to know. It's like, "Hey, I'm interested in speaking with you. I'm going to send you an email, and then we can decide if it makes sense for us to have a conversation." I might even say, since I didn't catch you, I'm going to send you an email and explain why I'm reaching out. I'm also going to connect with you on LinkedIn to provide a face with the name. Okay. This is a great way to establish not only credibility, but also to show that, hey, I've reached out to you 3 times within about 2 minutes. It's important that we talk. I'm going to get into that a little bit more here in a second with our next takeaway, but I want to leave you with a little bit of data from McKinsey. And if it's from McKinsey, it's going to be good and accurate and you can rely on it. But they've done the research and they say that top performers, they make 82% more calls than lower performers. And they said 26% fewer unsolicited emails. So what does that say? That their behavior is supportive of their success? Yeah, I think so. Right? So they're picking up the phone, they're making that call. Are they talking to folks? Probably not to begin with. But it also helps them send fewer unsolicited email because they are sending more personalized emails with more salient call to actions. And nobody makes phone calls anymore, right? I've had people call. I've called people that have been like, "Oh my gosh, somebody actually called to speak with me as opposed to send me an email." So number 3 is use phone calls as a pattern interrupt to cut through the noise. Okay. Make yourself differentiated from your competition by picking up the phone. Okay. All right. Number 4. So I kind of alluded to this a minute ago, and it's not the 4th mistake is not using combos. And what's a combo, you might ask? A lot of folks, kind of a new tactic for them as they're prospecting. And this is kind of what it looks like. So a combo is what I did when I left Emily a message. I said, "Hey, Emily, this is Derek with Sandler. I'm going to shoot you an email. Hey, Emily, this is Derek with Sandler. No reason to call me back right now. I'm going to shoot you an email with the reason of why I called, and then just go ahead and send you a LinkedIn request to put a face with the name." I'm going to do that today on day 3, day 1, day 2. So what's today? Monday. On Wednesday, I'm going to leave a voicemail. Then I'm going to send an email with a personalized Vidyard message. What's Vidyard? Vidyard is just a video recording. So you can use Vidyard, you can use Loom. There's all sorts of stuff out there. But the point is that I'm following up again on Wednesday with another voicemail message, and then I'm going to send an email with that personalized video message. And then day 5, another voicemail a LinkedIn video note. If you didn't know LinkedIn can do video now, check it out. It's pretty cool. And I will tell you this, video messages get so much more response than just plain text. That medium is new to folks and they love it. I've got, like I said, a cold sequence going right now, and it's been fantastic. And it's kind of interesting when you look at the response that you get from just a text introduction to a video introduction. I've gotten some text introductions that have been pretty harsh, some responses, and I respond to all of them. I'm just curious about why they might respond that way, what they found silly, what they found offensive, etc. But then when they obviously get opted out. But then when the responses I get with the personalized video message, it's like, hey, that was really cool that you did that. Thanks for taking that time. Hey, I love seeing a video message. Way to change it up. So think about it. If you got any questions about a good tool to use, hit me up afterwards. Let's have a conversation. I can talk about some of the technology that I use, and maybe it makes sense for you to use some of that too. All right. So takeaway number 4, build top of mind awareness with multiple touches each day. What do you guys think about multiple touches each day? I'm curious. I mean, shoot me your response, or we can talk about it when we have our one-on-one. I get sometimes that's too much, and I say, well, it's okay. It's fine for you to feel that way, but let me ask you, if you're at a networking event and you meet somebody and shake their hand and get their business card, aren't you going to probably take that business card, and the next day you're probably going to give them a call and shoot them an email, maybe even a text, right? So it's the same thing. You're just kind of doing it. You're just doing it in a cold way without actually shaking their hand. So think about it that way. The 5th mistake is a short or sporadic cadence. Okay. And when I say that, this kind of takes combos, and then we put a combo into something what's called a sequence. All right. And this is a prospecting plan. Okay. This says when I have a lead and I enter it into my sequence, day 1, we're going to do the combo, the LinkedIn connection request, a personalized email and call. Okay. Day 3, a call and email with a personal video. Day 5, a LinkedIn message. Now, if I skip and I go to day 6 and I don't do day 6, I got to start back over with a sequence. Okay. Because each of these steps has a purpose. All right. And then when you reach the end, and if you still don't have any response from them, that's when you send the breakup email. And breakup email kind of sounds something like this. Hey, Aaron, I've been reaching out to you for about 4 weeks. It doesn't seem like I'm resonating with you. I'm going to go ahead and close your file, and I'll maybe touch base in 6 months. 8 out of 10 times, you're going to get a response back from that person, and they're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize, I didn't see your email, whatever." And that's perfectly fine. But the fact of the matter is that nobody likes to be broken up with. And like I said, 8 out of 10 times, try me on this. You're going to get a response, and that opportunity is probably going to be jump started again. So it's pretty cool. In my public class that I teach, I had one of my customers did that. They had a opportunity that had him installed for about 9 weeks or so, and they were near. So they thought they were near the end of the process, but they hadn't had any contact with him. So he sent him a breakup email right after the session where we talked about that, to close the file. And 6 minutes later, he got a response. They had a meeting the next day. It works. Folks, they don't like to be broken up with. They like to have those relationships. So number 5 is make sure you're consistently touching the prospect through multiple channels. Okay. Have a sequence. If you have any questions, this sequence, I have it. It's in my HubSpot. It's in my CRM. Okay. So, when I put somebody into the sequence, my activities for this particular person, this prospect, when I open up HubSpot and I go to my activities for the day, they're going to already be programmed in there for them. So, because it's an automated sequence. So it's pretty cool. Use the automation to help you be more efficient and more effective. All right. And mistake number 6 is ignoring your digital presence. It is really important for you to have some type of presence online, obviously a website, right? But you need to have a presence on LinkedIn. You need to have a presence on Facebook. It kind of Instagram, TikTok, wherever your business is focused. Like I have a couple interior designers that are in my networking group. Does it make sense for them to be on LinkedIn? Yeah. But are more of their folks going to be on TikTok and Instagram? Oh yeah. So it makes more sense for me for them to be active there. Now, personally, I'm really active on LinkedIn. I have a social media strategy. I'm actually working on it right now. You guys are probably gonna see a lot more videos from me in the future, um, as opposed to just static text. So keep an eye on that. Should be over the next couple of weeks that I'm really going to be jumpstarting that. But also, have a company page and have a personal page. Okay, if you're self-employed, right? Obviously, you have a personal page. If you're not self-employed, you work for a corporation. Um, Make sure that they've got theirs listed, and make sure that you're connected to it. All right. So when people go there and they click on the people, you're going to be one of those folks that are going to pop up. All right. But when you have your personal page, it's okay. And I'm speaking to LinkedIn specifically here. It's okay to put personal stuff on your personal LinkedIn page. I think people think they need to be stuffy. They need to be strictly business. No, I mean, if you were to look at mine and if you look at my headline there, drivers of success, husband and father, outdoor space conservationist. So outside of the things that I value professionally, I want them to know a little bit about me. If you scroll down and look in my about me, my first three paragraphs are all about me as a person, about what my values are, what's important to me, and then I get into how I help people, with their business problems. And when you're posting, have a strategy about posting. We have Sandler rules that are posted on YouTube. I take those and I pick a rule for the week, and that's what I do. Right, my focus is around there. I use ChatGPT a tremendous amount of times to help me with my post, with my content. If you have any questions about that and want to know how I do it, feel free when we have our one-on-one. Let's talk about that. I can show you how I use it. And also, by the way, it makes sense to spend if you're gonna use Chat GPT, spend $20 a month and get Chat GPT 4.0. It's unbelievably different. It's unbelievably better, and you're gonna have so much better results. But anyhow, also, I use something called Sochi, and I use it. There's tons of scheduling tools out there. And I sit down with my marketing person at the beginning of every month, and we talk about the social media for the company pages that I have, and we go ahead and schedule all those. Now, um, since I'm a franchise, I have corporate collateral that gets pushed down and that I can use, and that's what I use on my company page. I will then like and comment on them as me on the company page to help get the algorithm kind of more in my favor. But I mean, Sushi's okay. I just use it because I have it and it comes with my franchise agreement. But there's a ton of tools out there that you can use that would be better for you. But I would say definitely if you can automate as much as you can when it comes to this. So just set it and forget it. Sit down the first Monday of the month for in the morning from like 9 to 12 and hammer it out, and you'll be so happy that you did. Google Analytics, super important. You want to the power of Google reviews is massive. I'm trying to really push my Google reviews and get folks to fill those out for me so I can have better SOE as well, or SEO, sorry. So don't ignore this aspect as well. If you've got a marketing team or maybe you are a marketer, make sure you're focusing on this area as well. Make sure everything's accurate. Make sure that, when folks search for your industry or what you do in your particular area, that you're at the top of the list. Okay, so takeaway number 6, social presence, digital presence. You're missing out if you are not consistently posting and commenting on LinkedIn, on socials, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it might be the best fit for you. Okay, really important. If you have any questions about that, feel free to reach out. I'm not an expert, but I feel like I do a pretty decent job, and I'm happy to help you in any way that I can. All right, so we've reached the end of our time together today. I told you to take about 30 minutes. We're right about 28. I like to keep my promises. So what I want you to think about is, one takeaway from this. I've got a new sales development series essentials cohort starting July 10th. Obviously, that's a typo. We're going to probably do October 10th, October 11th. Okay. I'm going to reach out. We'll try to set up a one-on-one conversation with you. Let's talk about the content that we covered today. How can you implement some of these strategies in your business to really help knock Q4 out of the park? Do you want to attend a class? Do you want to crash a class and kind of see what Sandler looks like? What do we do in our public cohort, in that 10-week session? And then who do you know? I'm asking for referrals here. Do you know somebody that might be interested in having a conversation with somebody like me? Maybe they're a business owner. Maybe they're frustrated with their sales team that they're not getting the results that they feel like they should be. Maybe they're frustrated that they're doing well, but they can't quite get to that next level. Somebody like that, I'd love to speak with them. So again, thank you so much for registering for the webinar this past week. I hope this is a enjoyable way to consume the content, but I do want to leave you with this. And this is from David Sandler, the founder of the Sandler sales methodology. And this kind of goes back to the BAT at the beginning. He says, it's not the feelings that influence the actions, it's the actions that influence the feelings. Never let how you feel determine how you act. Let how you act determine how you feel. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and talk soon.